Hi, I'm Ted with Everything Attachments, and we're today with our lightest of the lightest forks that we've built so far for subcompact tractors up to about a 35 or 40 horsepower tractor with a lifting capability of about 12 or 1400 pounds. This tractor has a little bit more capabilities than that, and that's why we're gonna check it with a L6060 today. I think I can pry back and lift somewhere in the 1700 pound range, something like that. We'll try that with some of these attachments and bounce them around, make sure everything's good. Our other foot, come around here and let's show them how they're built, Nate. So to make them lighter, if they're the same size and thickness, it doesn't matter what material you're making them out of, they're gonna weigh the same. But with Hardox being so strong with a tensile strength of it not letting it flex here, we simply have hollow forks. So there's 3 strips of 1/4 inch. Then we have another set for 2,000 pounds or 2,200 pounds. They have 3/8 on the outside with 1/4 inch on the center. And then we solid the top. As you can see on the side here, we actually cut the profile of what would be welded on the hook or the haunch where the latch usually goes. And so all that's cut in there, top and bottom, so there's no way that's ever gonna vary. And on our Hardox frames, and any of our frames really, they still use Hardox rails. They're tabbed in where they can't move either. So they're a pretty precision built set of forks. So we narrowed them up just a little bit so we'd have a little bit less weight. So what you've got here are 3 strips of 1/4 inch Hardox. You can see where the center's tabbed into this plate. That plate is 1/8 inch Hardox, just mainly to keep the mud, give you a smooth area on top, and it's plated underneath only for the reason of keeping mud and stuff from getting in the hollow area and dropping it in your driveway and stuff. I don't think anybody's gonna like that. So everything is Hardox. We've lightened it up everywhere we could. This is 3/16 Hardox. It's as strong as 3/8 or almost 1/2 inch of like A36 mild steel. The end of the forks here, you can see the outer edges here that make up the whole fork. And in between that is 1/2 inch Hardox, because you want your whole tip to be solid. That's your wear area. And if it was a forklift and OSHA came in, that's what they're checking to make sure they're not sharp. So we want to keep that where it doesn't wear, doesn't let dirt in. It's also solid up here at the top underneath this plate where it's plug welded, so you get a good strength up here. We certainly don't want that coming apart. This is a standard hitch pin for a skid steer forklift, whatever type of set of forks to lift your pin. So these forks are down to about 180 pounds. So you can buy regular compact forks to get as low as about 220, 230. Some are almost 300. And for a tractor like a BX that can only lift 600 or 700 pounds, that extra 100 pounds just makes a huge amount of difference. So with your subcompact tractor, an extra 100 pounds is likely the difference between you getting off a big refrigerator, a washing machine, or a new tractor implement off your trailer or truck or not. And so they're expensive to make just because they're real time consuming with all the welding. Even though they don't have a lot of metal in them, the metal's double the price and the welding is triple the time, because you don't have to weld anything on a Chinese fork, you just bolt it on. We've gone through the trouble to lighten up and I'm not building a set of forks. A lot of them only come to here, they simply don't have a guard. I don't think that's safe, and I won't be building forks without guards that raise up at least a foot or more above where your rails are. It just simply needs to be there. That's another 25 pounds I could take off, bringing it down to 150 or less, but just not gonna do it for safety. The heel of this also, and that's called the heel, and that's where it wears, that's also all solid Hardox right through the centers just for strength. And so these have never been used. We're gonna give them a try on some implements here, And then we're going to bounce them around and just make sure that they don't have a problem. I don't think we've patented this, and I don't think anybody's ever tried this. You're going to see whatever it comes out to be. They may be blow to pieces, or they may be just golden, but we're going to find out together, as we always do with EA. We're very transparent, and when something doesn't work, we're willing to admit it. So you can see the bottoms of them where we plated them to make them solid. Let's start with, is this a rotary cutter? Let's start with a Wicked rotary cutter. This looks like a 72-inch Wicked rotary cutter. I'm not positive of the weight right now. I think it's somewhere in the 900-pound range or something. I want to get this right. I can barely see the end because I've got them adjusted so close together. And I don't want to mess somebody else's attachment up. This is number 126541. Oh yeah, no problem. So far, we want to bounce it is what we need to do to really check them. All right, so let's move to something a little heavier. That tiller doesn't weigh anymore. Where we got a heavy box blade or something? We got a lot of stuff out on the loading dock getting ready to ship. Let's try something we know it won't lift and see how it does, just to see what's gonna happen. So I know I've got some cutting edges over here that weigh thousands and thousands of pounds that I know it won't lift no matter what. Not this tractor. So okay, I'm into the second pile. So I know it won't lift. I must just see what it does out on the tip. So it's almost, that's thousands of pounds. And I'm gonna mess up my hack here. And of course those are Chinese forks, so they're heavy. But I'm just trying, that's all the hydraulics will do on the curl and the lift. So let's just see if it deflected the forks any from the max lift of this tractor. They're both still dead level, and they're 90 degrees to me. So I don't think they're gonna bend. So now what we need is something that weighs a lot, but we can lift and can bounce around the parking lot. All right, this is a big heavy duty gear drive tiller, probably 600-700 pounds. We'll bounce that around. We're gonna drive around a little bit with this. I believe these forks are going to work good for subcompact tractors. Giving you that extra weight's worth gold when you can't quite do it. All right, let's go stick it in the ground over here where we were picking up trees yesterday, where we were plucking trees and just do things we shouldn't do. This is a cement block we used for our broom pole video. We had one that was 1600, 1900, and 2300, and I don't know which one this is, but let's see how it does. We certainly aren't going to hurt the cement. So this tractor will definitely lift 1600 because that was the lightest one I had. So we want to bounce it around. It's got the rear, I've got a blade on the back. It's not a real heavy one, it's not a real light one. But it's lifting the rear end of my tractor off the ground, and I've got loaded tires. Let's go over the grate a little bit here. We'll go over the grate with some speed. Bounce it around a little bit. This is a good balance, and we're almost balanced right now on the front tires. It's not really liking it. We'll see how the forks like it. All right, and just to make it worse on the forks, so I know they're safe, I'm going to slide it to the end. And it may not pick it up that far. I'm definitely out of balance now. I don't want to lift it high because I don't want to turn this thing over in the parking lot. I can't really bounce it much with the hydraulics now because it's all it'll lift. In fact, the steering's hard to turn. Oh yeah. That's about as hard as you're gonna. If it's all still straight and good after this, I think it'll stand about anything that is this size or less. I feel like I'm riding on 3 wheels. Sometimes 2. All right, let's pick the front end up with them. Oh, I don't want to mess up my new blade. We're going to try out the wheels here in a moment. All right, so let's check them out. Still level? All right, that's pretty good. The only thing we could do worse is stick it in the ground and try to push and grub a little bit, which is an absolute do not do. Nobody's warranted it except maybe us, but let's see what it does. And I'm only going to use one fork to get under a tree. Both will go in the ground. Okay, that's all the tractor will lift. Well, see, look at me, Nate, I'm a little, so that's all we can, and I'm still pulling them out with one fork. There goes 2 trees right off the bat. So if we do this with one fork, we definitely can compare it to the other one to make sure that, you know, they're just flat out strong. Alright, so there's 2 trees basically out of the ground. Now let's compare them. I'm sideways, but as long as it looks parallel across there with the camera, they're straight. Are we still equal? Good deal. I'll pry on a tree a little bit. I know we're not going to move this tree, that's for sure. But I'll do it on the other fork. Now I can see it bowing a little bit. It's down. Look at it, Nate, with your camera sideways. Climb up in there. You can see the fork's down at least 5 or 6 inches from the other one. All right, now let's see if it comes back to exactly where it should. Let's try the other one. Yeah, that gave it just a little bit. That's more than you should do. There's no question it's down 3 inches. So since I'm going to keep these for my tractor, I'm going to equalize the other one. At least it didn't fail. So now they should be equal. It still needs a little more ramming on that left one. I can see it. And still needs a little more. See if I got them back right where we can still use them. So can you bend them? Well, obviously you can see the bow just a little bit where the 1/8 of an inch came out right there. But this is 3 or 4 times more than what we should have put to it. We did all the lift it'll do, all the curl it'll do, and all the push it'll do. That's probably 4,000 pounds at least of force, if not 5 or 6. So for subcompacts, you're not going to be able to do this on a 30 or 40 horsepower tractor or less. And what these are really built for, to really give you the most use, you know, a BX, a Category 1, the little John Deere 10 series and all, they're awesome little tractors. They can do real work, but what you need is the right attachment so you can do as much work as your tractor will let you. So being that they didn't fail, anything can be bent, and that's what I tried to do. I accomplished what I tried to do. The good thing is they didn't break, come apart, or cause a hazard. I'll still use these just like they're new for myself. I just make sure nobody should be under forks anyway. But at Everything Attachments, this is the only place you're going to find the Hardox forks. They're patented. And by making this as light, because the Hardox is so strong, we were able to make the rails out of 3/8 instead of half. That's why we custom make the grooves back here to fit these rails specifically. There's a little bit more weight you could take out by removing this top. Like I said, not going to do that. Everything fits good and tight. They both have just a little, this one's separated just a little bit, maybe a 1/16 of an inch right here. This one's separated a little more than a 1/16 of an inch right here. They're relatively even now, but that is absolutely abuse for a fork doing that. It weared hard on the tree also. I think if I had a subcompact tractor, these are the forks I'd buy if I wanted the best. They're not cheap because there's a lot of labor in them, way too much. But if you want to be able to achieve the most, you just have to do the most work to win. And at Everything Attachments, we want all our customers to be winners. And stay with us, and we're going to provide you the attachments you need for your size of tractor.